24 hours a day. Go to cbsnews.com. AOL keyword CBS News.
For information about Up to the Minute, go to uttm.com or email us at uttm@cbs.com.
Experience CBS News.
Right now for stations not carrying Up to the Minute for a brief special report. CBS News continuing coverage of America at War. I'm Melissa McDermott. CBS News in Kuwait has learned from the Kuwaiti news service, citing Ministry of Defense sources, that 2 Iraqi missiles landed in northern Kuwait a short time ago. CBS News correspondent Aaron Moriarty is in Kuwait City, where it is now midday. Aaron, what do you know?
Well, Melissa, there was this eerie calm all morning since the airstrikes in Baghdad. And then a little bit over an hour ago, we heard this muffled explosion and went to check it out. And as you just said, the Kuwaiti press agency, citing the Kuwait Ministry of Defense sources, says that 2 Iraqi missiles did land in northern Kuwait. But according to those same sources, there was no damage and there have been no casualties. What we also know is that there has been a gas alert that was issued at the base that is just west of here, at the Ali al-Salam Air Base, and that troops, as you probably know, in northern Kuwait have also been asked to don gas masks and wear chemical suits.
All right, Aaron Moriarty, stay safe. Thanks for that report. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Melissa McDermott in New York. Now, for those stations watching Up to the Minute, then you can stay with our programming. It continues. And for the rest of you, we return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
The peace of a troubled world and the hopes of an oppressed people now depend on you. That trust is well placed. The enemies you confront will come to know your skill and bravery. The people you liberate will witness the honorable and decent spirit of the American military. Now that conflict has come, the only way to limit its duration is to apply decisive force. And I assure you, this will not be a campaign of half measures, and we will accept no outcome but victory.
Military analysts describe this surgical strike as an attempt to decapitate the Iraqi leadership. Reports say 5 top members were inside that bunker. It's unclear, though, who, if anyone, was killed or injured. About 3 hours later, Saddam Hussein appeared to broadcast that he was not one of the casualties. The Iraqi president took to the airwaves hours after the strikes to show his people and his army that he is still alive and still very much in charge. But Saddam's words of encouragement are apparently falling on deaf ears on the battlefield, at least. Near the southern Iraqi city of Basra, satellite intelligence shows 2 Iraqi infantry divisions and perhaps a mechanized division as well are preparing to surrender to Allied forces. That's up to 10,000 Iraqi soldiers. Although Saddam himself wasn't taken out in the strike on Baghdad, some of his top lieutenants, again, may have been. CBS's national security correspondent David Martin has more.
The entire strike was put together in about 5 hours after the CIA picked up intelligence on the location of the Iraqi leaders, and President Bush ordered the military to conduct the attack. The strike came as soldiers and Marines moved to their attack points in northern Kuwait for an invasion expected to begin in about 48 hours. The U.S. dropped a record 2 million leaflets over southern Iraq Wednesday, warning Iraqi soldiers to lay down their arms and go home. 17 Iraqis walked across the border into Kuwait and surrendered, the first in what is expected to be a flood tide of Iraqi soldiers who come out with their hands up once the shooting starts.
1, 2, 3,
The air campaign has been designed to convince the Iraqis they don't stand a chance.
The effects that we are trying to create is to make it so apparent and so overwhelming at the very outset of potential military operations that the adversary quickly realizes that there is no real alternative here other than to fight and die or to give up.
The Air Force has already showcased the 21,000-pound so-called mother of all bombs, and today the Pentagon talked about another weapon that will be used for the first time. This one able to destroy multiple tanks at the same time. The military also made clear that in this war, American planes will have a much easier time dominating the skies because after 12 years of knocking out missile sites in the no-fly zones, there aren't many air defenses left.
It is a significantly less hostile place than it was in northern and southern Iraq on the opening night of the Gulf War.
That air war is expected to begin before the week is out. But if the U.S. was either very lucky or very good and succeeded in killing the top Iraqi leaders in the very first strike on Baghdad, it is perhaps still possible that a war can be averted. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
The first troops across the Iraqi border will likely be the United States Marine Corps. Those Marines are now massing along the Iraqi-Kuwaiti border. CBS's Byron Pitts is with the attack helicopter unit, which calls itself the Vipers. He's so close to the border, in fact, that no lights are allowed.
Tonight, the mood here is as dark as a desert skyline. U.S. and British forces now have the sense the time for war is near. Here at the secret U.S. air base while in position, all the practice runs are over. U.S. and British forces are massing at the Iraqi border by the tens of thousands. The Army, Marines, Navy SEALs, all on high alert, hidden under the cover of darkness. One can only see through a night vision lens. Technology believed to be in short supply in the Iraqi Army. Tonight, for the first time here, all of these Marine Super Attack Cobra helicopters sit on the runway, fully loaded with live ammunition.
So you feeling good about the preparation? Absolutely. I mean, we're ready.
This is the commanding officer of Light Attack Helicopter Squadron 169 from Camp Pendleton, California. For security reasons, we cannot give his name.
We're pros. I mean, this is what we do, and we're just tremendous at it.
Still concerned Saddam may use chemical weapons, all troops are now under orders to keep their gas masks at their side and their chem suits nearby. When the war steps off, the chem suits go on. This is video obtained exclusively by CBS News. It's the last practice run of Marine Cobra helicopters using live missiles. The pilots fire 4 tow missiles. All 4 hit the target.
There you go. Good, good. Good hit. 2 good hits.
The commanding officer of this squadron has told his Marines to get ready. I don't know when the fight will start, he says, but, quote, it will be violent, it will be rapid, and we will overwhelm them. With the U.S. Marine Viper Squadron, Byron Pitts, CBS News.
U.S. forces are also engaged in battle this morning in Afghanistan. Helicopters ferried the so-called White Devils, about 1,000 combat soldiers, from the 82nd Airborne Division to the remote mountains southeast of the city of Kandahar. They're reportedly hunting for al-Qaeda gunmen, as well as Osama bin Laden himself. And we have a lot more news to come. You're watching CBS News Up to the Minute.
I have a real pet peeve about oral hygiene. Not many people think about it for their pets. Our best friends, the ones who never complain no matter what, our dogs and cats, we need to think about them. 85% of adult pets suffer from some form of periodontal disease. Chronic pain and even life-threatening problems can be prevented with daily brushing and regular teeth cleaning from your veterinarian. Dental health, make it your pet project. I have. Contact your veterinarian today for your pet's healthy tomorrow.
You did great on that test, son. I'm real proud of you.
Encourage them. Get them to graduate. Don't drop out on your kids. For more tips to keep them in school, call 877-4-A-KID.
What is a hero? Are heroes born, or are they made? In after-school programs, your kids will uncover hidden strengths, discover they have the power to change their future, and find the hero inside themselves. Let us know you on after-school programs in your area. Call 1-800-USA-LEARN. After-school programs, helping kids find the hero within.
I like battling epidemics.
I need people to battle an epidemic.
I like making futures bright.
I need people to brighten futures.
It's 10 minutes past the hour. Less than an hour after the initial attack began in Baghdad, President Bush addressed the nation. Here's what he said.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger. On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war. These are opening stages of what will be a broad and concerted campaign. More than 35 countries are giving crucial support, from the use of naval and air bases, to help with intelligence and logistics, to the deployment of combat units. Every nation in this coalition has chosen to bear the duty and share the honor of serving in our common defense. To all the men and women of the United States Armed Forces now in the Middle East, the peace of a troubled world and the hopes of an oppressed people now depend on you. That trust is well placed. The enemies you confront will come to know your skill and bravery. The people you liberate will witness the honorable and decent spirit of the American military. In this conflict, America faces an enemy who has no regard for conventions of war or rules of morality. Saddam Hussein has placed Iraqi troops and equipment in civilian areas, attempting to use innocent men, women, and children as shields for his own military, a final atrocity against his people. I want Americans and all the world to know that coalition forces will make every effort to spare innocent civilians from harm. A campaign on the harsh terrain of a nation as large as California could be longer and more difficult than some predict. And helping Iraqis achieve a united, stable, and free country will require our sustained commitment. We come to Iraq with respect for its citizens, for their great civilization, and for the religious faiths they practice. We have no ambition in Iraq except to remove a threat and restore control of that country to its own people. I know that the families of our military are praying that all those who serve will return safely and soon. Millions of Americans are praying with you for the safety of your loved ones and for the protection of the innocent. For your sacrifice, you have the gratitude and respect of the American people. And you can know that our forces will be coming home as soon as their work is done. Our nation enters this conflict reluctantly, yet our purpose is sure. The people of the United States and our friends and allies will not live at the mercy of an outlaw regime that threatens the peace with weapons of mass murder. We will meet that threat now with our Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines, so that we do not have to meet it later with armies of firefighters and police and doctors on the streets of our cities. Now that conflict has come, the only way to limit its duration is to apply decisive force. And I assure you, this will not be a campaign of half measures, and we will accept no outcome but victory. My fellow citizens, the dangers to our country and the world will be overcome. We will pass through this time of peril and carry on the work of peace. We will defend our freedom. We will bring freedom to others, and we will prevail. May God bless our country and all who defend her.
About 3 hours after the attack, a man believed to be Saddam Hussein addressed his people this morning. He read from a prepared text, and it's not clear if it was a live broadcast. He accused the U.S. of committing a shameful crime and urged his people to, quote, go draw your sword against the enemy. CBS News correspondent Mark Phillips is in Kuwait City, where he's been monitoring developments this morning, and I spoke with him a short time ago.
As you know, there are these reports and this confirmed question now of the attack on the bunker in Baghdad, and there's a particular echo in this case. You'll recall in the 1990-91 Gulf War that there was a similar attack on a bunker in Baghdad, around which the discussion was very similar as well, that there was Iraqi leadership in the bunker. That bunker was the Al-Amariya bunker. The same techniques were used there, a bunker buster bomb hitting the thick reinforced concrete roof of the bunker, and then another bit of ordnance dropped inside to obliterate what was inside. In that case, quite sadly, it turned out that the Iraqi leadership was not in the bunker as had been thought, but rather groups of civilians, and the death toll of civilians, women and children included, was upwards of 300. We're presuming right now that there's a great deal of concentration going on in the intelligence circles as to whether the people, senior Iraqi leadership as it's being described, who are thought to have been in the bunker in this attack, were in fact inside that. This is a war, as we know, that's being carried on in the face of great international opposition, and if there was any level of civilian casualty or any level of collateral damage, you can bet the Iraqis will make the most of it. Melissa?
Mark, how are they reacting in the area in Kuwait City? A lot of the military might is coming out of that area you're in. What are they saying about what happened before dawn?
Well, you have to remember the elements of this invasion force that are based here are largely ground elements. There are, of course, air assets in Kuwait as well, but what you have poised now and moving up into position to launch their invasions are more than 150,000 U.S. troops plus more than 25,000 British troops. They had thought, and they were saying as late as yesterday afternoon when I was out at some of the desert encampments, that they did not anticipate moving here for another day or two. By the weekend is what they were saying, but it seems now that we may surmise that the timetable has been adjusted, as it often is in war situations, and we're now seeing some indications of units getting ready to move. The procedure is that they have been in holding areas and staging areas well back in the range of 30 or so miles back from the Iraqi frontier up until this week. That's to keep them out of the range of Iraqi artillery. Over the last couple of days, we've seen movement up to advanced staging areas, tactical staging areas from which the actual invasions will be launched, and we're seeing now a pickup in the pace of that kind of movement.
All right, Mark Phillips reporting from Kuwait City. Thank you, Mark. And you're watching CBS News Up to the Minute. We'll be right back.
Can you lose weight and still live your life?
No problem. Slim Fast made it very easy.
I never felt deprived of anything, and I was losing weight.
Hey, we're talking choices.
Rich, creamy shakes, meal on the go bars.
Slim Fast has snack bars. You can take it anywhere.
Now let's talk taste.
Oh my gosh, the Slim Fast shakes are so delicious.
Just like a chocolate milkshake from an ice cream store. Slim Fast worked great for me.
And it just works for me.
And it felt like I was doing it the right way.
Slim Fast, it's your life. Feed it right.
Welcome to the new look of air fresheners. Introducing Decosphere by Airwick, the liquid air freshener with a unique round design that you can put anywhere. With captivating scents like jasmine and kiwi, papaya and mango, lavender and freesia. Decosphere is so inviting, everyone in your home will want one. Decosphere by Airwick, fragrances that change your world.
Attention, Americans without prescription drug coverage. Don't wait to find out if Medicare will ever cover all your prescriptions or if your employer will ever offer you coverage. Get the People's Prescription Plan today. Members have already saved over $350 million on prescription drugs, eyewear, hearing aids, and more at over 50,000 locations nationwide. Your household is covered for just $7.95 a month with no limits on use, so the savings can really add up. In fact, you start saving right away. You pay just $2.95 for your first month, a savings of $5 off the regular price. Plus, your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. There are no claim forms or waiting periods. You save right on the spot. So don't wait for the politicians or your employer to decide if they're going to help you with prescription costs. Save now with the People's Prescription Plan.
Call 1-800-982-0303 for free information on the People's Prescription Plan. That's 1-800-982-0303. Call now.
Coming up, we'll have live on-the-scene reports from Kuwait and Iraq, plus complete details and analysis. So wake up to what's new on The Early Show. Want to keep an eye on your money? Now there are 3 great places to get the best in financial news: on CBS Television, CBS Radio, and on the web at cbs.marketwatch.com. Follow your portfolio, and when you're ready, trades are just a click away. CBS News, your eye on the market. Showdown with Saddam, all the latest on tonight's CBS Evening News.
Across the Pacific Rim this morning, major stock markets are enjoying a positive reaction to the start of war in Iraq. All major indices are trading higher. The key index we follow for you, Japan's Nikkei, gained 144 points, about 1 3%. As for Wall Street, Alexis Christophers is on the CBS Market Watch.
With war the main focus on Wall Street, the Dow managed to extend its recent winning streak. The Dow sprinted 71 points, making it 6 winning days in a row, its longest winning streak since August of 2000. The Nasdaq, meantime, dipped 3 points, dragged down by Oracle's disappointing software sales. Crude oil closed below $30 a barrel for the first time in 2 months. Traders are betting on a quick and successful war with Iraq and little to no disruption in oil supplies coming out of the Middle East. A new survey finds nearly a third of all consumers are being very careful about their spending. But the survey by the NPD Group found unemployment actually has more impact on spending plans than war or terrorism. Half of those surveyed plan to spend much less than usual on major appliances, electronics, and jewelry. J.P. Morgan Chase said it's been notified by the Securities and Exchange Commission that it may face disciplinary action for sharing profits with clients who received shares in initial public offerings arranged by the bank. Nike said profits raced ahead to 47 cents a share, a penny better than estimates. Revenues rose 6% to $2.4 billion. And Walt Disney cut its profit target for the year. Disney says war fears are hurting its theme park business and that expected improvements in the economy and tourism have stalled. Track all the pre-market action at cbs.marketwatch.com. At the Nasdaq, I'm Alexis Christophers in New York.
Let's take a look at your forecast this morning. The satellite picture finds skies still gray over the Rockies and Plains, but for the most part, the monumental snowfall has ended. The same storm is spreading clouds over the Midwest and Great Lakes, while the East Coast has also turned cloudy. Later today, a cold rain will develop across the Northeast. Thunderstorms will rumble across the Ohio River Valley and the Mid-Atlantic states. Across the Midwest and Central Plains, it'll be a rainy day with temperatures only in the chilly 40s. The Rockies will remain cloudy. Only a few flurries or some spotty drizzle is expected. Afternoon temperatures should climb into the upper 30s and lower 40s. While we're on the subject, the big dig out is on in Colorado and Wyoming after what turned out to be one of the most intense blizzards in 20 years. CBS's Jerry Bowen reports.
It's a paralyzing blizzard that's buried parts of Wyoming and Colorado under snowdrifts topping 10 feet, closing roads, freeways, and Denver's International Airport. 4,000 travelers were stranded there, and the fabric roof of the main terminal was torn open by the storm. Taxiways are clear, but runways impassable, and jets are staying parked at the gate.
This is, from all indications, both a storm of the century, a backbreaker, a record breaker, and a roof breaker.
It was a heavy wet snow that collapsed roofs and buildings all over the Denver area.
The snow load for this building got a little too extreme.
When the roof and walls fell in at the Great Rocky Foliage Company, it was a wake-up call for the neighbors.
It just sounded like a massive wave, like it just like
I don't even know how to really describe it, just like a big wave of water coming down.
It was a storm that stopped the U.S. Postal Service and its competitors from delivering anything in the Denver area and left stranded travelers stunned.
We're from Oklahoma. We get a little bit of snow, but this is phenomenal.
So big, the locals were snowboarding off the front porch, and forecasters say it's not quite over. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Now that conflict has come, the only way to limit its duration is to apply decisive force. And I assure you, this will not be a campaign of half measures, and we will accept no outcome but victory.
Started back at the gym today. Heidi, how do you do it all? I couldn't do it without Max. The kids, the career, Max helps. And you still get to the gym. You're amazing. I don't do it alone. Come on, Max.
For many blind people, a guide dog makes it possible to do all the things that add up to a full life. It means the freedom to go where they want and do what they want. That's why the law permits guide dogs to go everywhere that's open to the public. To learn more, call the Guide Dog Foundation for the Blind, 1-800-548-4337.
Can you imagine working all week and instead of cashing your paycheck, you rip it up? If you earn under $30,000, $20,000, or even under $10,000 a year and you're not claiming your earned income tax credit, then you're doing just that, throwing away your hard-earned money. This tax credit can put up to $5,000 back in your pocket to help you pay bills, save for college, or a home. Ask your employer or whoever helps you with your taxes about the earned income tax credit. It's your money, you've earned it, now claim it.
3 o'clock, where do your kids go? When I was 9, my mom had to work 2 full-time jobs. She didn't get home till 11. The streets were there, but for my sake, so was the Boys and Girls Club. A positive place for kids and our second home every day after school. Eddie Rodriguez ran the Boys and Girls Club in my neighborhood. Today, there are 3,000 Boys and Girls Clubs where caring people like Eddie help our children succeed. Does it work? It did for me. Support the Boys and Girls Clubs, the positive place for kids.
Hi, I'm Joe Perry. And Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, here for RAD. Recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. Never, never, never let someone you know get behind the wheel if they've been drinking. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Now here's something you may not know about the U.S. military poised to head into Iraq. Almost half the armed services are part-time soldiers, National Guard and reservists who now face full-time danger. In this morning's Eye on America, Jane Clayson looks at the new face of the reserves.
How's it feel?
Beautiful, sir.
But of course.
Lieutenant Colonel Martin Bischoff has a job to do. Training his unit and himself to face every kind of danger. But it's only a part-time job.
I work for a relatively large company and very used to nice hotels, company cars perhaps, plush offices, and we come here and our office is, what you see right here, is outside.
Bischoff and more than 180,000 other part-time troops now train for missions that can last years instead of weeks.
2 years ago I was in Africa. A year ago I was in Lithuania. It's just a changing way of our national defense policy.
Signing up for part-time military duty means being able to serve on a moment's notice while holding down a full-time job. Not easy on the troops and increasingly difficult for their bosses back home.
Gentlemen, give me a quick insight what we got here.
Bischoff had only 5 days' notice to switch from being a sales manager in New Jersey for the pharmaceutical company Pfizer to reporting to Fort Bragg in North Carolina for training.
I'd like to believe I'm indispensable, but I'm sure there'll be somebody there.
You scramble, there's no question about it.
Rob Norton runs human resources for Pfizer, where more than 60 employees are now on active duty.
There will be a job waiting for them when they come back. We tend to look at this as a version of public service.
This is Martin's office. This is his headquarters.
Bischoff's wife, Catherine, finds it hard to adjust to the uncertainty.
6 weeks. When you have a specific date, you know they're coming home.
things run a lot easier because you can look at the calendar and go, okay, this is when he's coming back. We can manage quite easily. At the moment, we have no idea.
How was school today?
And on top of being a soldier and a salesman, Bischoff tries to fill one more critical role.
A super dad.
A father to Michelle, Nicole, and Stephen.
Of course, I want him back, but you have to think of other people. So you got to think that everyone else is giving up a bit, so we can too.
It's a sacrifice this citizen soldier says he's willing to make to protect their future.
We have great things in this country that we take so for granted, and it's worth protecting, it's worth fighting for.
In Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Jane Clayson for Eye on America.
And we wish all of them the best this morning. This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
For news 24 hours a day, go to cbsnews.com. AOL keyword CBS News. Experience CBS News.
Good morning. It's Thursday, March 20th. From CBS News in New York City, I'm Melissa McDermott. Here's what's happening.
دفاعاً عن الوطن الغالي والمبادئ والمقدسات.
A defiant Saddam Hussein accuses the United States of committing a shameful crime by attacking Iraq. He's urging his people to, quote, go draw your sword against the enemy. The U.S. effort to overthrow Saddam Hussein began last night with a bang. After 9:45 p.m. Eastern, several dozen cruise missiles and bombs dropped from an F-117 stealth fighters and struck a fortified bunker near Baghdad. U.S. officials say it was an attempt to kill certain Iraqi officials. Minutes later, President Bush addressed the nation.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger. On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war. These are opening stages of what will be a broad and concerted campaign. Now that conflict has come, the only way to limit its duration is to apply decisive force. And I assure you, this will not be a campaign of half measures, and we will accept no outcome but victory. My fellow citizens, the dangers to our country and the world will be overcome. We will pass through this time of peril and carry on the work of peace. We will defend our freedom. We will bring freedom to others, and we will prevail. May God bless our country and all who defend her.
This is the first war to fall under President Bush's national security strategy, asserting the right of the United States to preemptively attack anything deemed a terrorist threat. Now, at this hour, U.S.-led troops have not yet received orders to launch a ground attack. Correspondent Alan Pizzi is in northern Iraq. He spoke to Dan Rather after bombs, cruise missiles, and bombs targeted a bunker in Baghdad.
And nothing has happened here in the northern oil fields. They're about 20 miles from us, and that's a primary target of the U.S. military. They're going to have to take it probably with parachutes and an airborne assault because they couldn't get the 4th Infantry Division in through Turkey. So this area is going to be a major problem for them. And right now, nothing at all has happened up here. I guess we would expect to see cruise missiles and so on when it actually starts, because about 20 miles from where I'm standing, we know there's the Nebuchadnezzar Battalion of the Republican Guard, several armored units of the regular army. Now, some people are saying a lot of these regular army will surrender. The Kurds who rule the area that I'm in say they've had approaches already from senior officers in the Iraqi military saying, when it starts, we're going to give up. We'll see if they do, but the Republican Guard is expected to fight, so I think we can expect to see some fireworks around here, Dan, when it actually starts.
CBS News correspondent Alan Pizzi reporting in northern Iraq. Many Western journalists have left Baghdad. One of the last to depart was CBS News correspondent Lara Logan. She and her crew are now in neighboring Jordan. Last night, Lara spoke to Dan Rather about what Iraqi military preparations or movement she saw on her way out.
The first thing I noticed as we drove out of the city was Iraqi soldiers manning anti-aircraft guns on the top of buildings, including an apartment building. And then as we reached the outskirts of the city, there was a line of military activity on either side of the road, with at least 40 large flatbed trucks dug into the earth, the kind the military would use as launching pads for multiple rocket systems. And further down the road, about 6 miles, there was another site where we saw trenches, sandbagged fighting positions, and here there were dozens of huge cylindrical fuel containers. But strange as it may seem, the one thing that we really didn't see much of was Iraqi troops, and none of the fighting positions we saw were manned. There really wasn't a strong visual military presence anywhere. Dan?
And what was the mood in Baghdad as you left?
Well, people were really getting very nervous indeed. They were coming up to us asking tonight, looking for some kind of confirmation that the US bombing would start tonight. Still, shops and businesses remain closed, and the streets that are normally crowded with traffic were virtually empty. There was really an eerie sense of calm on the surface, but then when you spoke to people, you got a sense of the fear and the panic underneath that. Most people do have weapons at home. Some said they were going to fight the Americans, but others said these are just for protection, and they plan to hide in their houses and wait until it's all over.
At the United Nations, France, Russia, and Germany told the Security Council that a U.S. attack to overthrow Saddam Hussein would be illegal.
The Security Council has made available the instruments to disarm Iraq peacefully. The Security Council is not responsible for what is happening outside the UN.
They say the UN Charter does not authorize any nation to try to topple another nation's leader.
Hey, hey! Whoa, whoa! We want that protest to go! Hey, hey!
Outside the White House, protests for peace continue. Critics say the president continues to gloss over the human financial costs of a war in Iraq. Democrats in Congress expect the president will ask for as much as $90 billion to pay for the invasion. Some continue to say that American soldiers will be asked to pay with their lives for the president's failed diplomacy.
We cannot convince the world of the necessity of this war for one simple reason. This is not a war of necessity, but a war of choice.
Madam President.
Now, right afterward, Arizona Senator John McCain rose to disagree.
Madam President, I ask to allege that somehow the United States of America has demeaned itself or tarnished our reputation by being involved in liberating the people of Iraq, to me, simply is neither factual nor fair.
And briefly, one other item from the Senate. The Senate has rejected a measure to open Alaska's National Wildlife Refuge to oil drilling. The measure failed on a vote of 52 to 48. The vote was a major defeat for the Bush administration, which has made opening the refuge to oil drilling a central part of its energy plan. And this morning on Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrials began trading at 8,265 after closing up 71 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index is at 1,397, and that's off 3. And we're back in 2. This is CBS News, up-to-the-minute coverage of America at war.
Right. Got it. Yeah. Well, that's great news. I appreciate it. Goodbye. Well, I've got some fantastic news.
I'm not here.
No, it was Geico. I just saved myself a bunch of money on my car insurance.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Cancer.
The doctor walked into the room and said, "You have cancer, and it's inoperable. You have only 6 months to live." So I turned to my wife and said, 33 years together is not enough. So I decided to fight and I started looking for options. Our daughter, who is a nurse, told me about Cancer Treatment Centers of America. It's like no hospital you've ever seen. They treated me, the whole person, not just my tumor, with the latest medical technology, nutrition, and supplements to stimulate my immune system to fight my cancer.
To find out about alternative treatment options at our hospitals, call toll-free 1-800-931-0599.
It's been 7 years now. I beat cancer, and so can you.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America, winning the fight against cancer every day. Coming up, we'll have live on-the-scene reports from Kuwait and Iraq, plus complete details and analysis. So wake up to what's new on The Early Show. Want to keep an eye on your money? Now there are 3 great places to get the best in financial news: on CBS Television, CBS Radio, and on the web at cbs.marketwatch.com. Follow your portfolio, and when you're ready, trades are just a click away. CBS News, your eye on the market.
Updating our top story, the United States went to war with Iraq at about 9:30 Eastern time last night, after some 90 minutes after President Bush's deadline for Saddam Hussein to go into exile or face invasion. Now, what is called the target opportunity was carried out on Baghdad, specifically on a bunker by Tomahawk cruise missiles and F-117 stealth bombers. Pentagon officials tell CBS News the bunker was believed to contain high-ranking officials in the Iraqi government. President Bush then addressed the nation to announce the beginning of the military campaign. He was confident of a U.S. victory, but warned it may not come quickly or easily.
A campaign on the harsh terrain of a nation as large as California could be longer and more difficult than some predict. And helping Iraqis achieve a united, stable, and free country will require our sustained commitment.
Now that bombs have been dropped, we take a closer look at what might follow. CBS News military analyst General Buck Kernan is here, and General Kernan headed the U.S. Joint Forces Command beginning in 2000 until his retirement last year. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Good to be here, Melissa. Thank you.
This bunker where they're saying top military Iraqi officials, do you think they thought Saddam Hussein was one of those?
Well, I'm thinking they're hoping that he was there. Unquestionably, they knew, they had some very precise intelligence that said at least some senior Iraqi leadership was there. And I think they would have hoped that Saddam Hussein, his sons, and the rest of that senior leadership was all in that bunker at one time.
Do you think they thought it would be that easy and the war could be over that quickly?
No, I don't think so at all. I think one of these things, it is truly a target of opportunity. They had some intelligence that indicated that these people were spending the night there, having a meeting there, whatever they were doing. They rapidly were able to coordinate a very sophisticated attack using cruise missils and F-117s. The cruise missils, of course, came out of both the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf. They were fired from ships and submarines, and closely choreographed after the strike of the cruise missiles. The F-117s rolled in with some bunker busters. Munitions designed to penetrate deep and explode after they penetrate deep inside the bunker. There was some 3 dozen cruise missiles and 2 F-117s, each carrying 2,000-pound bunker buster bombs.
Now, we're not calling this a first strike,
no,
but like you said, a target of opportunity. The Bush administration has taken pains to say we're just having a regime change. We're not trying to assassinate Saddam Hussein, but when you're dropping bombs on bunkers where you think military officials are, that's pretty thorough.
Well, but he is a military target. He and his leaders are military targets. So we will target them. We will target command and control. We will target the communications facilities that support them. The other thing, in addition to the regime change, as you say, is making sure that we can control the weapons of mass destruction and the delivery means. And right now, the control of those is through Saddam Hussein and the Special Republican Guards. So if we can decapitate that leadership, we can hopefully contain the employment of any chemical or biological weapons.
Now, in the initial stages of any kind of a war, the first phase, if that's what you want to call it, when you're dealing with the Iraqi army, is there a sense of wanting to measure what they're capable of and to see how they respond to that first wave to let you know what you're dealing with?
Yeah, I think we're going to get, there's going to be some psychological impacts here, no question about it. We've already possibly seen some of that. There's indications right now that we may have 2 divisions in the south, down in the vicinity of Basra, that are willing to surrender, have already indicated their desire to surrender. So yes, there is going to be some of that, unquestionably.
Now, could you tell what, from the video we saw of the target opportunity, there was anti-aircraft fire coming up from the ground, supposedly from...
Well, that's what it sounded like. And of course, much like we saw in Desert Storm, there's an awful lot of anxiety out there. At any sound of anything overhead, somebody probably sounded the alarm and they started firing. They may not have been able to identify anything. They may not have seen anything, but nonetheless, they just fired out of anxiety into the air.
Now, we know that Saddam Hussein is keeping his most elite forces near Baghdad, and we assume his best weapons, the surface-to-air missiles that they have there. What kind of a danger does that present to these pilots as they're flying over? And is it more dangerous at night?
No, we're much safer at night. We own the night. We have the ability to operate very precisely at night. It minimizes our profile. They can't see us as well. They don't have the same night capability that we have. He's got a very extensive air defense system, but many of his systems are dated. They're antiquated. How well trained his people are is questionable. He's got a ring defense. He's got his conventional forces on the outside, mainly conscripts. He's got his Republican Guards divisions on the next ring, and then he's got his special Republican Guards in and around Baghdad, and that's who's providing the security to him directly. He and his sons and his hierarchy. He's got a very extensive air defense umbrella around Baghdad because he knows that's where we're coming after.
Now, you mentioned a little bit about the next 48 hours and how all of the weaponry is positioned around the periphery of Iraq. Talk a little bit more, though. Possible next time we're going to see a strike, first strike even. Would this be when night falls, or would they want to make him sit for a little while?
Well, I think we may exercise a little patience here. Let's see what unfolds. If we've already had less than 2 hours after this strike an accurate report of 2 divisions surrendering, we may let that play out a little bit and see if we don't get mass surrendering. That would be wonderful. So I think we are going to exercise a little patience. Will we attack at night? Yes. It has a psychological effect that is overwhelming. We are much more survivable at night. We have an awful lot of flexibility with our weapon systems that enable us to do things at night that they can't defend against. So I think the next strike will be a coordinated strike, air, land, and sea, coming at night. You can pick the time.
Okay. Well, and as far as ground forces, that's another question. Is when do the ground forces come in? It's really hard to tell at this point?
Yeah, some of that's going to be an opportunity also. For instance, if, say, these 2 divisions do in fact surrender around Basra, we'd probably tell them to stay in their barracks, in their complex, cache their weapons, and as long as they didn't interfere, we wouldn't do anything against them, which would mean that we now have less resistance there, which means we can move a lot faster and start to move our forces more rapidly toward Baghdad and the northwest.
And speed is really the key here, especially with the ground forces moving quickly to Baghdad.
Sure, you want to get in and you want to basically dominate his military. You also want to quickly secure those oil fields. Those oil fields are important to the future of Iraq. That's the very foundation of their economic stability. So we don't want anything to happen to that if we're going to provide for a good opportunity for the Iraqi people. And then, of course, the other thing we want to do is try to identify where those weapons of mass destruction systems are, whether they're in bunkers, stockpiled somewhere, and the delivery means. And we want to be able to get on top of those very quickly also.
All right. General Kernan, thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Happy to do it.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Can you lose weight and still live your life?
No problem. Slim Fast made it very easy.
I never felt deprived of anything, and I was losing weight.
Hey, we're talking choices.
Rich, creamy shakes, meal-on-the-go bars.
Slim Fast has snack bars. You can take it anywhere.
Now let's talk taste.
Oh my gosh, the Slim Fast shakes are so delicious.
Just like a chocolate milkshake from an ice cream store, Slim Fast worked great for me.
And it just works for me.
And it felt like I was doing it the right way.
Slim Fast, it's your life. Feed it right.
This is an important message to our nation's 25 million veterans. We are trying to contact all honorably discharged U.S. veterans of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, and Coast Guard who served our country during wartime or peacetime. If you are a veteran of one of these military branches between the ages of 45 and 79, or the spouse or widow of one, call this toll-free number now to find out about important benefits you are entitled to apply for. These benefits are available only through Veterans Life Insurance Company. Because of your honorably discharged status, you can receive vets-only rates on your choice of $5,000 or $10,000 of supplemental life insurance. In addition, you'll receive a benefits eligibility package that includes complete details on these insurance benefits and optional accidental death protection you are also eligible to apply for. Plus, when you call now, you'll get this Veterans Burial Benefits Update absolutely free that explains your entitlement to government benefits. Important. Our nation's veterans need to know about their benefit eligibility. If you are one of our nation's veterans from any of these branches of the military, this message is for you. Veterans Life is dedicated to providing veterans with good quality life insurance. You are entitled to apply for these benefits at affordable rates for which only you as a veteran or the spouse or widow of one can qualify. Don't miss this opportunity. Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So don't wait. Call this toll-free number now for your benefits package.
Veterans, to respond to this important message about your benefits eligibility, call toll-free 1-800-449-6161 now for free information and your Veterans Burial Benefits Update. 1-800-449-6161. That's 1-800-449-6161. Call now.
Showdown with Saddam. All the latest on tonight's CBS Evening News.
We're coming up on 51 past the hour. CBS News correspondent Russ Mitchell is on the war desk now with these headlines. Tell us what's going on, Russ.
Good morning, Melissa. President Bush has taken the nation to war. Tomahawk missiles and 2,000-pound bunker busters struck specific targets in Baghdad aimed at Saddam Hussein and high-level members of the Iraqi leadership. The large-scale air attacks and ground assault have not yet begun. The missiles were launched from ships and submarines in the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf. President Bush appeared on television to tell the American people that this would be the beginning of a concerted effort to change the Iraqi regime. The larger war has yet to begin, however. Shortly after the attack, Iraqis heard from a defiant Saddam Hussein. He went on Iraqi TV, read poetry, and accused the U.S. of committing a shameful crime. On the Kuwaiti border, we're getting word that 2 divisions of the Iraqi army are on the verge of surrender in southern Iraq. Weather could be a problem for the ground forces as sandstorms continue to sweep across the desert. So, Melissa, here we go. We're wondering when this was going to start. We're there.
And no telling when it's going to be a full-on barrage.
That is true.
Could come.
Don't know yet.
All right. Russ Mitchell, thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you. Well, when President Bush set the deadline for Saddam Hussein to be out of Iraq or face war, he included Saddam's sons, 2 of whom hold important posts in the Iraqi regime. Qusay Saddam Hussein is head of the elite Republican Guard and of the Iraqi Intelligence and Security Service. Uday Saddam Hussein, the eldest son with a reputation for ruthlessness, controls Iraqi state media. Uday has another position as well, head of the Iraqi Olympic program. As CBS's Sandra Hughes reports, that was bad news for the team.
These former elite Iraqi athletes once prayed for Olympic glory. Allahu Akbar. But it was a quest that turned into torture. Before escaping Iraq after the first Gulf War, they trained to win under Saddam Hussein's son, Uday, head of Iraq's Olympic program. Champion volleyball player Issam Al-Dawan says losing brought the ultimate threat.
We receive calls from Uday. If you lose the game, that's mean nobody come to Iraq or will kill you and will execute all your family inside Iraq.
Issam says he was jailed and tortured. While athletic victories were celebrated in the streets of Baghdad, he claims other players were beaten, had their children burned with acid, or just disappeared. Ibrahim Alwan was on Uday's hand-picked soccer team. When he missed a practice,
they put me in the jail. I get in the jail
7 days.
This national wrestling hero, Najim al-Akabi, took part in a political march and was shot by Iraqi police.
Soldier Saddam has shot me in my back and this hole in the side in my chest.
After documenting the abuses, a London human rights organization sent this formal complaint to the International Olympic Committee, asking it to expel Iraq from competition. The IOC is investigating, but tells CBS News its findings so far are confidential.
In the headquarters of the Iraqi National Olympic Committee, there's a prison and a torture chamber. And we believe that hundreds of athletes have been tortured and as many as 50 athletes have been killed.
Issam now runs the Iraqi Olympic Council, a group opposed to Iraq's government.
Saddam Hussein, he is war criminals. We welcome the war who saved us from Saddam Hussein.
But for now, they wait and watch, remembering how their dreams of Olympic glory were destroyed. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, El Cajon, California.
You're watching CBS News coverage of America at war.
Fire. Flying. Being homeless. Losing your job. What do women fear most?
A lump in my breast.
The more you know, the less you fear. Call the National Alliance of Breast Cancer Organizations. It's the leading nonprofit information and education resource in the country. Knowing the facts about breast cancer could save your life. Call NABCO. Be fearless.
Plastic ones last longer.
Pork bellies close steady due to speculation that demand for bacon-related products.
Read me this one, Daddy.
Okay, honey. The less art kids get, the more it shows. Are yours getting enough? Art. Ask for more. AmericansForTheArts.org.
428 Essex, polyp on the premises.
220, we're on it. Let's roll.
In there.
Yeah, we'll handle this, man.
What?
We're ready to be very civil about this.
You never know when a polyp is going to show up. Get the polyp early and stop colon cancer before it even starts. Just get a test from your doctor. Get the test, get the polyp,
Nice surgeon's touch.
get the cure.
Now available in your neighborhood, it's HIV. Get the virus that's sweeping the nation. Over half of new HIV cases are being picked up by folks just like you. With HIV, you'll get pills, and bills, plus a chance to get full-blown AIDS. How do you get HIV? Don't think about it. Don't talk about it. Don't protect yourself. Don't do anything unless you don't want to get it.
Call 1-866-344-KNOW.
It's been just 12 years since the last military campaign against Iraq, but for the youngest Americans, this is the first morning they'll awake to their nation at war. For parents, this presents an opportunity to talk with his or her child to ease his fears. And as Maury Alter of station WCBS TV reports, parents have a familiar and furry friend to help them.
See what silly things happening here now.
Chances are you might not think your kindergartner's interested in over there, but you might be very wrong. They're reading these days in kindergarten, and they may have older brothers and sisters to overhear, and they may just have a question. Am I going to be all right?
Reassurance, reassurance, reassurance. We need to say to them that everyone in the school, in their community, in the government is working to keep them safe.
She says you can't promise nothing will happen, but we can provide reassurance. And another thing, we can report someone else is on the case on TV.
Do you ever feel scared and upset when you see or hear something scary? Oh, I want that too.
Elmo and his friends at the Sesame Street Workshop in Manhattan have put together 8 public service announcements that never mention the word war, but the timing is obvious.
It's time for that because the media is filled with images and discussion about war and terrorism, and children are picking up on these messages from the media.
So from Sesame and Elmo, you get messages for parents.
Children can get frightened by what they see and hear on television, but you can help them feel better, right, Elmo?
Right.
And messages for them.
You know what Elmo does when he feels scared like that? Well, Elmo talks to a grown-up.
One announcement encourages reading to get the kids to open up.
When you're reading, talk about the different emotions that the characters are feeling.
And remember, when the questions come, the experts all seem to agree. Don't overload, and
remember to be patient, understanding, and reassuring.
And maybe if you're lucky, one of, if not the question you'll get will be like this one from Elmo.
Elmo has a question, Gordon.
Oh, sure, Elmo.
Can Elmo have a hug?
Absolutely.
Maury Alter for CBS News.
You know, it can make adults feel better, too. This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
For news 24 hours a day, go to cbsnews.com. AOL keyword CBS News.
For information about Up to the Minute, go to uttm.com or email us at uttm@cbs.com.
Experience CBS News.
Now on CBS News Up to the Minute. The war in Iraq begins as the first bombs land on Baghdad.
This will not be a campaign of half measures, and we will accept no outcome but victory.
Good morning, everyone. This is Up to the Minute. I'm Melissa McDermott. The war began just before dawn in Baghdad. 90 minutes after the deadline President Bush gave for Saddam Hussein to leave Iraq expired, air raid sirens blared as anti-aircraft fire lit the skies and explosions rocked the Iraqi capital. The target was a hardened bunker where U.S. intelligence believed top Iraqi leaders were spending the night.